Hey, what's up everybody? It's Jack, and in this video I wanted to discuss about the very recent announcement that Modern Warfare 2, or the rumor actually, that Modern Warfare 2 just might be coming to Xbox One for backwards compatibility or whatnot. And God knows how many months ago Black Ops 1 was said to be coming backwards compatible for the Xbox One as well. It should be coming, but we just don't know when exactly. So it is official, but we just don't know when. And I think I speak for the entire community when I say, why not just make all the classic Call of Duties backwards compatible? I would say at least every Call of Duty from COD 4 up to Black Ops 2. Some people would say Black Ops 2 is not a classic Call of Duty, but I think it is, and it was the last fully boots on the ground Call of Duty. Well, if you don't count Ghosts, but Ghost is already on both systems, so that one really doesn't count. But I think Activision has a really, really good opportunity here to basically, they're a business and, they're all about, making profits as much as possible. And I personally think that the whole Black Ops 1 and Modern Warfare 2 thing is basically like a test. They're basically going to test and see if this thing works. And if it becomes popular enough, then they'll do it with the rest of the games. At least I think. Or they'll release more games slowly but surely. But if you look at what they did with Halo released every single Halo game in one pack, the Master Chief Collection. Well, not every single game, but every single game that the Master Chief was in, and audiences pretty much embraced it. The only thing that sucked was when the game was released, up until many, many months after, the online part of the game just really, really suffered, and the community was not really happy about that, which sucks. But if you look at the bare basics, you had all the Halo games in one package, which was pretty sweet. But if they do that with Call of Duty and release a legit online formula for that, so that way when the game gets released, people don't get pissed off. If they do that, or whether they release it in a package or whether they release them individually, I think Activision has a great chance to capitalize, obviously, because they're all for that. But long story short, only time will tell. And I think the community definitely wants it. I mean, I think it's also a really unique way to go back to boots on the ground without necessarily having to go back to boots on the ground with newer games, because it seems like a good amount of the community wants boots on the ground, and a good amount of the community just likes the new stuff, just as long as it doesn't compromise the Call of Duty formula, so to speak, which is obviously what they did wrong with Advanced Warfare. Advanced Warfare definitely has its merits. I go back and play it every so often, but in doing that, there's a lot of the Call of Duty formula that was basically removed from Advanced Warfare, simply because of the fact that there was not enough Call of Duty in that game, so to speak, as I like to say. And I'm all for futuristic movement added into the formula. I'm not against that at all. But at the same time, there are a lot of people out there that just want the classic Call of Duty. Basically like the way it was in Ghosts or in Black Ops 2 and before then. So I'm not against that either, but it's like the developers, from a developer standpoint of view, are stuck between a rock and a hard place. So it's like, well, half of the community wants this and the other half of the community wants that, so what do we support? One of the things that is absolutely certain, though, is that a very large part of the community would like the old Call of Duties to come back as either backwards compatible for the system, or in one new package, which is updated. Now, what I mean by updated is, well, whether the games get released individually or not, the games need to be updated. For instance, in Modern Warfare 2, the one-man army noob tubes needs to be fixed. In Black Ops 1, although it's not as big of a deal, it still is to the community. The Ghost from Oz issue needs to be fixed. In World at War, the MP40 needs to be nerfed, and you guys know how that works. So, and I'm sure I'm missing a few things out here. I don't want to go through every game, but we all know what needs to be fixed, and obviously the games need to be updated as far as security is concerned, so that way there's very little to no hacking, so that way the game is playable for the community, because there's a lot of the community that wants to play it. And with that being said, if you look at a game like Killer Instinct that the online community has been talking about for years, ever since it was released, it was a fighting game, and it was really popular in 1996 when it came out, when fighting games in the arcades were basically in their prime. And Mortal Kombat was the king. And then this new game, Killer Instinct, comes out, and it took everybody by storm. It had a really awesome soundtrack. The sounds were awesome. The gameplay was 60 frames per second. It was one of the first games that was 60 frames per second. The graphics were awesome. The game was fun to play. It had its own unique personality, and ever since that time, the sequel to that game kind of sucked. But ever since then, there was like nothing. And the community online in vlogs and God knows where was talking about, man, we need to have a new Killer Instinct. We need to have a new Killer Instinct. And so many years later, finally, about what, a couple of years ago, Killer Instinct came out and was announced, and ever since then it's been updated. There's up to 3 seasons now. They've updated it to make it even better and more balanced, and it's one of the best fighting games out there that exists today. I mean, from a technical standpoint and a graphical standpoint too. It's a great success, and there's a lot of passionate fans out there about it. And Microsoft was apparently listening to the community, and they made it happen. Granted, it happened so many years later, but a long story short, it happened. And the thing is with Call of Duty is such a cash cow for them that it's going to force them, hopefully, to accelerate this, so that way it happens sooner rather than later. And if we get these games and if we get them patched up, I think the entire community is going to be happy. And I don't think it's going to take anything away from the newer games, simply because of the fact that the newer games have that new element that players that play Call of Duty simultaneously want. Even though half of the community at least wants pure boots on the ground, it's still good to have something new, because let's face the facts. We've already played so much of the older Call of Duties that we're going to go back to them, sure, but we're not going to go back to them like to replace the new game. At least that's what I think, because we've already put so much time into it, and it only becomes a matter of time before we get bored of them again. And to have all the different older ones come out, it always gives us something new to go back to, even though we've played it before. We have so many options to choose from. So whenever we need a break from the newer Call of Duty that comes out, we can choose one of these titles that came beforehand that we prefer, because there's so many people that prefer COD 4 to Modern Warfare 2. There's other people that prefer Black Ops 1 instead of World at War, and so on and so forth. So the fact that we have all these options, which is one of the things that makes Call of Duty so popular in the first place, is it's a game that's full of options. I mean, you've got 3 different games in one. You've got the campaign, you've got the third game, which is either zombies or whatever else Infinity Ward decides to do, or Sledgehammer, and then you've got multiplayer. So, and then you've got customizable options and all these different things, different ways to play. So one of the reasons why people like Call of Duty is because of options, and because of all the choices you get to make one way or another, despite how you play. So it makes complete sense for them to do this. So I am hoping that it'll happen, and I am almost willing to bet that it will sooner than later, because it's such a cash cow, and they can definitely do it. The only concern that they have, obviously, I think, from their point of view, is they don't want to take anything away from the newer game. But I don't think it'll be that much of a big deal. And at the same time, it also pleases, it also, at the same time, if you think about it, it gives them a chance to make money off of people that are not going to buy the new game for one reason or another. Whether it's money purposes, or whether it's because they're not a fan of, let's say, Infinity Ward, or or whatever the deal is, they can still make money off of those people that are not going to buy the new game, but are going to dish out, let's say, $10 to $15 or whatever for an old game, or or a package deal for the older games. So I personally think it'll be a great thing, and I hope it does happen. So that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. I hope you guys really enjoyed the gameplay as much as I enjoyed getting it, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like it, let me know, and if you don't, let me know what I could do to make my videos better, and I'll catch you guys later.